Title: The Whispering Woods. In the small town of Eldridge Hollow, stories of the Whispering Woods had circulated for generations. Cutting through the heart of the adjacent forest was a path lined with gnarled trees, their twisted branches clawing at the sky like fingers reaching for salvation. The townsfolk trembled at the mere mention of it, for the woods were said to be cursed, a place where creatures of darkness roamed freely and the lost whisper their warnings. 17-year-old Ava Bennett always found the stories fascinating rather than frightening. Having grown up hearing her grandmother's tales of glowing eyes peering from the shadows and unsettling howls that echoed at night, Ava's curiosity often led her to the cusp of the woods, peering into the darkness with wide eyes. On the eve of her birthday, emboldened by youthful bravado and the lack of credible evidence for any real danger, she decided it was time to uncover the truth about the Whispering Woods herself. "Are you really going into those woods tonight?" her friend Sam asked, concern etched across his freckled face. He had always been the logical one in their friendship, while Ava clung tightly to her adventurous spirit. "Of course," she replied, determination threading through her voice. "We can't let some old wives' tales scare us away from an adventure." As dusk swallowed the sky, Ava slipped on her worn-out sneakers and a hooded jacket, ready to take the plunge. Despite her fervor, a sliver of hesitation pricked at her heart when she stepped onto the path leading into the Whispering Woods. The familiar sounds of the night dwindled, silence hanging like a dense fog as she ventured deeper under the eerie shadows. The woods were deceptively quiet, the silence amplifying even the smallest sound, the crackle of twigs beneath her feet and the rustle of leaves cradled by the wind. As she walked further into the woods, Ava found herself surrounded by towering trees that seemed to close in around her, their branches curling and twisting like the clawed fingers of long-forgotten souls. Suddenly, she heard it, a soft whisper, almost a breeze of sound that skirted her ears. "Ava," it called, chilling her to her core. She spun around, heart racing, but the path was empty. "Just the wind," she murmured to herself, forcing a laugh to break the tension. However, the whisper came again, this time accompanied by rustling just off the path. Her courage faltered as the shadows deepened, but a flicker of defiance pushed her forward. She reached a small clearing where the moonlight spilled down, illuminating strange symbols carved into the trees. An unsettling feeling washed over her. This was more than just woodland, it felt ancient, alive, and watching. "That's it, I'm turning back," Ava whispered, already stepping backward when the whisper returned, louder this time, echoing ominously through the trees. "Leave, while you still can." But before she could run, something else moved in the shadows. From the dark, a creature emerged, its form shifting, indistinct but undoubtedly present. Ava stood frozen, skin prickling as its glowing eyes fixated on her like a predator gauging its prey. It was a grotesque figure, half-formed and cloaked in shadows, but there was an unmistakable humanity seeping from its bare, grotesque limbs. "Stay with us," it implored, its voice a haunting melody that melded fear with an unsettling allure. "So many have wandered here, so few have left." Panic surged through Ava, igniting her instincts to flee. She turned and ran, branches snagging her clothes, suffocating whispers encircling her like a dark cloud. "Ava, don't go," the voices echoed, many now, rising and falling in a cacophony designed to draw her back into the cursed depths. With every pounding heartbeat, she could feel the creature's breath at her back, its presence haunting her as she sprinted down the path, desperately searching for the way out. Over heady breaths and rapid footsteps, she could hear the whispers merging into cries of anguish. "Help us. Save us." Finally, as if reaching the brink of despair, she stumbled out of the trees onto the solid ground of Eldridge Hollow. The cool night air filled her lungs, and she fell to her knees, shaking and gasping for breath. Behind her, the Whispering Woods stood ominously, the gnarled trees looming like sentinels, their dark secrets teeming within. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind, a warning tainted with gravity. "Those who enter may never return." Ava got to her feet, shaky but adamant not to look back. As she left the woods behind, she felt the press of unseen eyes on her, the whispers a haunting reminder of the dangers lurking just beyond the veil of reality. She had escaped, but she could never forget their cries. Months later, as night cloaked Eldridge Hollow once more, Ava shared her harrowing tale with Sam at the edge of the forest. They stood silently, glances exchanged, each recalling the tales from their youth. But the air grew heavy with an unsaid understanding, a pact to never return. Yet, even as they walked away, the Whispering Woods continued to breathe, its cursed creatures waiting in the shadows, whispering, yearning for the brave or the foolish to venture back.